All right, it's Mark, and you might have been wondering the first several weeks, like, okay, when are we going to start talking about exercise? We haven't even talked about exercise yet. Well, now we are. We're going to start talking about exercise, and I think that in terms of exercise, so many people are focused on like the latest workout or, the latest equipment, but I think that staying active is truly the most important thing that you can do regarding exercise in your life. And it's one of the most important things you can do to stay healthy and young and feel great. And in fact, remember we talked about the blue zones, which are these areas where people live to 100 and they have amazing vitality. One of the key reasons why is because they're constantly moving and they're constantly active, literally like all day long. They're not chilling out. They're like going and walking around and doing stuff. Okay. And so what I think is a smart kind of goal for us each day is to walk 10,000 steps. You've probably heard of this number, 10,000 steps. And it's actually not arbitrary. It's not arbitrary. It's roughly 5 miles. And there have been a lot of studies that show that amount of activity, it's not perfectly a causation, but it's correlated with much better health and vitality. And it's also associated with better, cardiovascular conditioning. And the more we move and use our bodies, the more vitality we have, and we keep our youth in a way. So movement really is life, right? Everything that's living moves. And so we really want to continually move and nourish our bodies with movement. And another a couple important points about moving. One of the best exercises for your hip strength and to keep your hips strong, it's not necessarily squatting. It's just walking. If you're walking with proper posture, just walking can actually keep your hips strong. When someone looks at the health of your bones in your body, are they looking at your arms? No, of course not. They're not looking at your arms. They're looking at your hips and your spine. That's just another reason why walking is just so unbelievably important. Another general theme, guys, the more movement, the better. Okay? So in general, the more movement, the better. So if you could theoretically move for 8-10 hours a day, that's actually the ideal, right? But so many of us are just sedentary, right? Like we think we go for a 30-minute workout and like, whoa, that's really awesome. Like, come on. It's not going to move the needle as much as just being active. Okay, so how are we going to implement being more active, right? We all have very sedentary lives. So how do we get more active and reconnect with who we are as human beings, which is basically being out and about and just living our lives and moving around all the time without even thinking about it? One way is just to potentially walk to work. You can, walk while you're on your phone. When you're taking a call, I actually walk around all the time when I'm on my phone. You can obviously go to a park and walk around. Just walking is just something that you really want to build into your lifestyle. Of course, you don't need to just walk. You can count your running. So if you do some running for like as a workout, that can certainly count towards your 10,000 steps, and even swimming, by the way. The idea is just moving around is really healthy, and we really want to get that movement. And so how do you track whether you're doing 10,000 steps? You can use, obviously there are a few different options, like you can use a Fitbit, right? There are different equipment. You can use an Apple, like a watch. There are all the different types of watches that help you track your movement. You can even use a phone. I think the best way is, getting like a Fitbit or like a pedometer and just tracking it that way. The idea is, you're not going to have to track all the time, right? Like you're not going to have to wear a Fitbit every day of your life. But the idea is for this coming week is actually want you to ideally track the number of steps per day that you're taking just to get a feel for it. In general, I would say I'm at or more than 10,000. If you're a little bit less, 8,000, that's totally okay. But the idea is we really want to get above the 5,000 range, the 3,000 range. Like that's not cool. We want to get toward that 10,000 range every single day. Again, it's associated with better health. And another thing to mention, as you're implementing this habit is this is requiring a change in your attitude, right? I'm sure that hey, listen, you're probably like me where I don't drive as much anymore because I live in the city, but I used to remember driving somewhere and I'd have to park really far away and I'd be like, oh my goodness, I've got to walk an extra 10 feet. I can't believe I got this parking spot, right? I'm sure, and listen, I know you've been there, okay? The idea is to change your attitude and be grateful of the extra activity you can build into your life. So if you have to park a little further away, You don't have to get upset. You can actually enjoy the experience. And I just saved you some frustration right there, right? Build the activity, change your attitude and approach toward activity, right? You don't have to be upset at having to take an extra trip somewhere or do something. Like, build that into your life and appreciate it. So this is ultimately, again, it's a change in your mindset. That's really what this whole lifestyle program is about, is building these habits, changing your approach, changing your mindset so that staying lean it's just something that's going to happen, right? You have the mind of a lean person and your body will reflect that. All right. So this week, stay as active as you possibly can. As much walking, figure out ways to build normal activity into your routine. Okay. Maybe it's a morning walk, as we said, maybe, you walk when you're on the phone, whatever, just build more activity into your routine. And that's it. Good luck with this week. Again, this week is so important. It could have easily been earlier in the program, but just the way everything flowed, I thought it made sense to put it here. And again, I'm going to see you next week. Enjoy.